Most people think the best response to being rejected is to prove their worth. They post more. They explain themselves. They chase closure. They hope that one more conversation will change someone's mind. But psychology tells a different story. The people who leave the deepest impression are rarely the loudest. They're the ones who quietly move forward. Because nothing is more confusing than someone who stops asking to be chosen. Silence reveals what words cannot. Today, we'll uncover 7 silent behaviors that often leave a lasting impression after someone chooses to walk away, not because you're trying to make them regret their decision, but because you're choosing your own growth instead. 1. Stop explaining yourself. Many people waste months trying to prove they weren't the problem. They replay old conversations. They defend every decision. They search for the perfect explanation. But people who have already made up their minds rarely change because of another argument. Sometimes, the strongest statement is saying nothing at all. Not because you have nothing to say, but because your peace matters more than being understood. Not every misunderstanding needs a defense. 2. Let your absence speak. When you're always available, your presence becomes expected. But when you quietly step away, people begin to notice what is no longer there. The conversations end. The attention disappears. The routines change. Distance often creates clarity that constant presence never could. Sometimes people only recognize your value after experiencing your absence. 3. Invest in yourself instead of the past. The easiest thing to do after losing someone is to keep looking backward. The healthiest thing is to start looking forward. Learn a new skill. Improve your health. Build better habits. The goal isn't to impress anyone. It's to become someone you're proud of. Growth has a quiet confidence that doesn't need to announce itself. 4. Protect your energy. Not every message deserves a reply. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Emotionally intelligent people understand that every reaction costs energy. The less you argue with people committed to misunderstanding you, the more peace you keep for yourself. Peace grows where unnecessary battles end. 5. Build a life that doesn't depend on one person. One of the strongest psychological shifts happens when your happiness no longer depends on someone else's presence. You reconnect with friends. Pursue your goals. Create new experiences. Little by little, your life becomes fuller. And when your world expands, one person's absence no longer defines it. 6. Stay consistent, not dramatic. Some people disappear for a week. Then return hoping someone notices. That's not growth. Real change is consistent. You don't need to announce that you've moved on. You simply keep moving. Over time, consistency becomes more convincing than any emotional speech. Actions outlast announcements. 7. Become emotionally independent. This is the most powerful step of all. The greatest transformation isn't when someone regrets losing you. It's when that regret no longer determines your happiness. You stop waiting for apologies. You stop hoping they'll come back. You stop measuring your worth by someone else's choices. Because real confidence begins the moment you realize your value was never dependent on their recognition. Here's the truth. You cannot control whether someone regrets losing you. But you can control the person you become afterward. And often, that's the part people never expect. Not because you tried to prove anything, but because you quietly became stronger while they were looking elsewhere. So ask yourself this. If you stopped chasing approval today, what could you become tomorrow? Because sometimes, The greatest comeback isn't being missed by the people who left. It's becoming so fulfilled that whether they look back no longer changes the direction you're going. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe to this channel, and turn on notifications for more videos on psychology, emotional intelligence, and understanding human behavior. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.